Bismillah, astaghfirullah, Cheikah. She's running late, inshallah. I don't want to keep the family too long waiting, so we'll just open up with Al Fatiha and Rabibi Ma, inshallah. When she comes, she'll be able to close us out, inshallah, and speak for us. Astaghfirullah. Udu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi wa huwal aliyyil azim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin, ar-rahmanir rahim, maliki yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلاة الفاتحة اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم على آله حق قدره والمقدار العظيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربيبي ما يفرح لسنا كرف جاء بجاه عبد الإيمان الله قال جاء ربيبي ما يشرح لسنا كرف جاء بجاه عبد الإيمان الله قال جاء حمدي لرب كريم إن لا شريك له وصلى يا يمان وانساتي ملاء محمد صلوات الله في عبادين الله في به كل به كلاء أتو إلى ذي ما مواهبه لجملة تلك الكيمة يتار من براء أجيت جلاء ومن وكا رحماني تاكري مهادين باكو إميل غامريا رحمن وهابي جامي يكاكي رحمة ما يغني نيشري من قرآن هو قراء هود متال مصطفى كولي ماستر داتين وتاهمل كالكايا من جاد بداء يا مالك يا مكي يا من جال أنك وادين هم جميع واري حادي أمرداء يا مالك يا مكي يا من جال أنك وادين هم جميع واري حادي أمرداء يا مالك يا مكي يا من جال أنك وادين هم جميع واري حادي أمرداء وهوت ما كنا هول كابمين درارين بجاي يطليمان لله قال جاء بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We should have did a stock for lobby heat first. So we're going to do a stock for lobby heat. May Allah forgive us for all sins, known, unknown, committed, yet to be committed, everything in between. Inshallah. Allahumma salli wa sallam wa barak ala sayyidina wa malana Muhammadin alihi wa sahbihi wa takabal min liwajika karimi kawli ta'iban alayka bi astaghfirullah bihi astaghfirullah ladim wa tub alayhi min zawahirin wa min gayub astaghfirullah ladim wa tub alayhi min zawahirin wa min gayub سألته بحكي وجه الله مغفرة من جملة المناي تبت له من جملة الصغائر مع الكبائر ومن دمائر كثير لك في كل ما تقدم وما تأخر وما بينهما فهمني العلم وزدني علما وعملا وأدبا وفهما ربي اكشف العلوم النافية واجعل آياتي من شك إيمانيا اكشف لي الأسرار وغمدا يكيد من كشف سرا غمدا إجماع جميع ما تفرع كالدا كتيمنا كري وصفيل كالدا بكل دا تفاكر الأعظم يا ربي بكون وتاسما كلاميا أبلي يا أكرام في التلاوة خيران كثيرا منك والحلاوة وريكليا لهما في حياتي وجاف وادي وتنا حياتي أبلي كوني بشر كل من ياتو بلي زواهر أبن ماي الغيوب كابل نكون به تأهيرا من الذنوب ومعاصي والآفات وحتى الأدخل جنتالاتي وإذا موتكم برحمتك يا رحمن يا رحيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين Waspalana lane Rabia Fia Tamla Hubban Acosta Feed the Randy Allahu. Waspalana lane Rabia Fia Tamla Hubban Acosta Feed the Randy Allahu. Waspalana lane Rabia Fia Tan Hubban Acosta Feed the Randy Allahu. May Allah address us with a veil of well-being, answer all of our prayers and goals in this life and the next. Astaghfirullah, 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 Barke Serene Salihu, 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 Barke Serene Salihu. Ameen. Astaghfirullah, Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum again to the family. Juma Mubarak, Juma Kareem. We have the wonderful Dr. Cheikah Ayaba Bey is going to give us our presentation and lecture for the evening. Inshallah, we'll have closing du'as from our beloved Cheikah Ayashe. Inshallah, we are grateful for all the souls here this evening. Cheikah Ayaba Bey, are you available to begin?
I am.
The floor is yours, Cheikah. Astaghfirullah.
Oh, I give thanks. Assalamu alaikum, and I give thanks for the opportunity to serve. I love serving when it comes to especially spiritual matters, because to me, um, I tell when I teach my friends and my students that if you don't think you're spiritual, breathe out. Do you see anything? Unless it's very, very cold, and all you will see is the heat kissing the cold air. Um, and then I'll say to them, okay, hold your breath. You know how long you can hold your breath, not too long. So my question to them is always, well, what's the relationship between that which is coming out of you and that which is in you? And tonight I want to talk about relationships. I was given that as a suggestion, by the way. He said you can see me, right? Can you see me?
Bismillah, yes, Cheikah.
Because I can't see me. So I don't know whether I'm there or not. um, okay, I see the name flash up. View, show self view. Oh, there she is. Okay. Give thanks. So I don't know how long you all have been studying Sufism or studying with Sheikh Sufi Ba. But that prayer you just did, mm, 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 that was phenomenal for two reasons. I didn't understand the word you said, but I felt the energy of what you were saying. And I know you were praying. I know you wasn't partying. So what I wanted to just know from you all is how long have y'all been studying with Sheikh Sufi Ba, or studying the spiritual culture and knowledge of Sufism? Starting with you, the one who said the prayer first.
Astaghfirullah, it's Sheikh Mustafa Cheikah. I've been with
Sheikh
Sheikh
Mustafa.
Sufi 4 years now. In January to be 4 years now. We've been studying Sufism with Sheikh Sufi and Sheikh Zulu. All praises.
You are phenomenal. I mean, all of y'all. I've heard Sheikh Zulu pray, and wow. Well, y'all have teach me. I share with y'all what I have learned on this road of life. I haven't learned to speak Arabic, and I only know one or two words in Wolof. Now I do have a friend. We've been friends. He's from Senegal. He's Sheikh Awabala Job, and we've been friends now for maybe 45 years. it's, it's, it's hard to really realize that much time has passed. However, he never really taught us about the Sufi culture or the Sufi spiritual path. However, I think it was Sheikh Amadou Bamba's grandson came to the place where I was learning my first energy of culture with a brother who's passed on now, named Brother Nyabingi, up in Brooklyn, New York. He had the first African store in America, and all the brothers and sisters from who came here to peddle their merchandise, for example, would all stop at Nyabingi's store. And I think it was the grandson of Sheikh Amadou Bamba who came, and somebody who was related to Sheikh Ibrahim. And they gave us names, but I can't remember the name they gave me. I know the last name was Fall. I have been on this path now that I know about the path. I've been on this path more probably all of my life. I remember at 3 years old, I'm presuming it's 3 years old. I knew it was before 5. And I was lying in the bed, and it seemed like I was asleep, but I thought I was awake. And I saw these stars, in the heavens, or lights. I can't call them stars. They were little lights all through this dark space. And a voice came from the space and said, "When do you want to go down there?" And I said, "When their backs are up against the wall." And the voice says, "So be it." And then I was back in the normal, I could hear mom and them talking and stuff like that. I always got I guess I would call them teachings now, but I always got these words that I can recall from back when I was a child from time to time. One time I was at my grandmother's funeral, my father's mother. I just want to give you all a little background. And I was crying so bad I got kind of sick. And at that time, being that we were under this energy or influence of Christianity, I said, "Oh Lord, will you just please let me know when people are going to die so I won't be so sick?" And from that point on, I began to know when people were going to die, especially if they were close friends or family members. Well, make that transition, and now I've learned to call it. Then I started having visions at some point. I even visioned my aunt and uncle getting on an elevator. When they got off the elevator, was a big hole in the back of the elevator. And my mother, I called my mother and asked, "Did anything happen to Aunt Helen and her husband and everything?" She said, "Yeah, how do you know?" I said, "I don't know. Did they die?" And she said, "Well, Uncle Hooley, that's what we call him. He was thrown out of the windshield of the car, thus the hole in the back of the elevator wall." And just different things like that. Sometimes I would get an actual date of the transitioning of a person. Then I left as I got into high school. I think I was around 14 years old, somewhere between 12 and 14. And a voice came to me and said, "You must leave here when you get 16 years old." And I said, "I got to graduate." And the voice said, "You must," a little louder, "you must leave here when you get 16 years old." And I said, "But I have to graduate." And the next thing I know, I was on the floor. I couldn't hear nothing from the outside world. It felt like, if that's what being in a vacuum feels like, that's how I felt. And I said, "Well, what am I supposed to do in New York?" And they said, "You have to go help find the one true religion." Well, I didn't quite know what that meant, but I wasn't going to say I got to graduate from school anymore. So I went up to my grandmother's house after all of that transpired and everything came back to normal. And she said, "Don't worry about it. Just keep your eyes and your mind open. God got his hands on you, and it will be revealed to you in due time." Time passed. I graduated high school. I was 16, moved to Hampton, went to Hampton University, graduated from there, met a friend in school, and she lived in New York with her aunt and uncle. That was my way of going to New York. And I stayed in New York, met a lot of people. Eventually, I met a sister who took me to hear no, Shechem or Shechem. I didn't know that at the time. I don't even know if he was Shechem or Shechem at the time. And I heard him speak about these different things out of ancient Kemet. They don't use the word Egypt. Egypt actually means bondage. So I didn't quite understand everything he was saying because I think he was from Panama. He had a thick, thick accent. So from there, I was taken to, it was a real journey. From there, I was taken to what they call a bimbe, and it was drumming and dancing and people getting, under possession, spiritual and all this. I never seen anything like that. I came out of the Baptist church, and in the church I came out of, that preacher wouldn't even allow people to get the quote unquote Holy Ghost. So from there, I had friends who moved to South Carolina to what was called the Oyotunji village. And I went down there because I want to protect her from getting brainwashed. And I went down there and she was living with her brother, who I thought was mean. But I learned later that actually he was one of the revolutionaries from back in the 60s. He came out of Chicago. So he wasn't so much mean as he was stern. He was like a general in the army. And I left her there with him and she and her husband when it was time for us to leave. And I was out on the porch crying because I said, "Oh my God, I'm just so scared they're going to brainwash her." And of course, I started going down there to visit them and eventually learned that this was part of a cultural system out of West Africa called Yoruba. And when the king, finally I got relaxed with it over the years, and the king, who's now made his transition, gave me a reading and he said, "Your name is Ayaba Awoyemi, and my last name was Bay. And I said, well, what does that mean? He said, Ayaba means wife of the king. Awoyemi means one who receives the mysteries of God. And I'm telling y'all all that because it leads up to right now. And so eventually, many years later, I became a student in the Soraset. I've been with him now for about 9 years. Now, they gave me the name. Well, you know, they study and throw divine, the system that they use. And the name came up in Torah, Her, Ma'at, which has to do with Heru, who is God's will, Ma'at, which is the love of God, and in Torah, one to whom this spiritual energy, you know, comes, and to make large, to share with others and make large. So I said, well, if both systems give me this name that's similar, then they must come from a similar source, if not the same source. I come from a really big family. I'm the oldest of more than 300, 400, 500 grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and now great-great-grandchildren. And I never saw my grandmother try to make one child be like another child. She gave everybody their space to be whatever it is they were going to be, including me. I was always a talker. I was always an enforcer of the 10 Commandments. They used to get sick of me. Oh, Lord, here she come talking about the Bible. So eventually, with the Soraset, they put you in clans. So my Orisha mother is Oya. Oya is a talker. Oya is the wind. Oya is the breath of life and the breath that leaves your body when you make your transition. So when I was with, so in a Soraset, they put me in the Tehuti clan. Now, my second name, Awoyemi, means one who receives the mysteries of God, and Tehuti is the wisdom of God. Where did that lead me? That led me to this book right here called Egyptian Mystics. This book I found, well, I don't know, I think these things come to me. Just like when I met Sheikh Sufi Ba, I can't remember his other name. But when I met him, I was in Indianapolis with my daughter who was going to college there. And I was with a sister who knew him. And she introduced me to him, and we shared a space together. He had a bookstore, and we had a store about health and meditation and acupressure, diet, and nutrition. And he was not Sheikh Sufi by then. Matter of fact, I didn't even know he was really studying about it until maybe a year later, or a little bit less than a year, when I heard when they invited us to come to a ceremony in which the brothers from Senegal were there, and they were talking about Sheikh Amadou Bamba. And I said, I know about him, to myself. I didn't say it to anybody. And they were telling me how they dreamed him, and that's how their Sufi order began in Indianapolis, of all places. So from there till then, when I was invited to come speak with you all down in Georgia, I had no idea I was going to see him. And there he was. So to my person, spirituality, Allah, God, all of those things is mathematics. And although we may not see how the numbers come together and how they bring us to certain conclusions in our life's path, you all talk about numbers, and you all share with us what words mean and what their numerological indicators mean. So I'm seeing all of this as one thing. And that's what got me in trouble in church too, because they were talking about this religion, that religion, and Jesus is this and that and the third. And when we did my first time communion, I don't want to take it because I said, I can't be eating nobody and drinking no blood. And they said, that's not what, that's bread and that's wine. It's a symbolism. But it didn't fit with me. So eventually, I found out I was in the Tahuti clan. And when I was online, always researching, I ran across this man named Mustafa Gadala, who also is from Kemet, or what they call Egypt, or what they call, oh, God, now I can't think of the name. It'll come to me. But it starts with an M. And that was the name of what they call Egypt on the map. And I asked him, what do they call Egypt? And he gave me that name, which I can't remember right now. So inside of this book that I just showed y'all, inside of this book written by Mustafa Gadala, who has an institute online, The Source of Sufism. As the book, I'm going to read you a little bit of it. As the book progresses, we will find that Sufism has nothing to do with Islam or Persia, and everything to do with the quiet people of ancient and Baladi Egypt. 2 points of interest should be mentioned here. The term and practices of Sufism surfaced as a result of Islamic conquests and the subsequent terrorizing of its victims. In order for the Islamic terrorized masses to maintain their ancient traditions, they had to camouflage old traditions under an Islamic garment. The pure form of Sufism originated in Kemet. Other countries copied it and were quick to take the credit for it. Their application of Sufism is impure and incomplete, as we will find throughout this book. Now, when Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba's family came to New York and was sharing with us about his history and the history of Sufism as it is done in Senegal. Wow. I called the brother who was I can't think of nothing now, but the brother who did our readings, who was Sufi, and I said, you're not a Muslim. He says, Sister Ayaba, I am a Muslim. I said, yeah, but this is from ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt. This is not from Islam. He said, yes, it is. My granddaddy was a Muslim. My daddy was a Muslim. He just went on and on and on. I said, yeah, but this is not the same. This is different. This is more mystical. This is more esoteric. He just laughed at me, of course. So I wanted to share that with you. I know you already know about it because Sheikh Sufi Basa has spoken of it. And it goes on to share that the keynote of Sufism is the union between man and God. And that's a relationship. And that's what I want to talk with you or share with you all tonight about relations and relationships. And that's one of our first, if not our first relationship, is with Almighty God, is with Allah. Even the name Allah has a relationship with Allah itself and with all that there is, because Allah is Allah backward and forward, and it means all in all, which all you all know. So if everything is Allah, then what is not Allah? Everything is Allah, so there's nothing that's not Allah. So people may ask the question, well, if everything is Allah, why are there wars? Why are people killing people? Why are people doing this, that, and the third? That's negative and mean and what we would consider to be evil. Are you saying that Allah is also evil? I said, no, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that you don't understand the concept of the relationship between the flesh beings that carry the soul and the spirit of Allah within them and Allah as itself. It's like people like to use, and I like to use too, the example of the ocean, the big body of water, and a little bit of water is still water, and ultimately will serve the same purpose, especially if you out on the desert and you about to die of thirst. So the movement of water is the movement of the life force within us. And they say the pH of our blood is the same as the pH of the water in the ocean. They say the pH of the water in the ocean is the same pH of the water in the womb when the sisters carry their youth. So you see, through the name of Allah, through the word Allah, through the understanding of the movement of water, air, and other elements, we can see the workings of Allah by what? Through the relationship. So I looked up the word relation and relationship by way of what they have in what they call a dictionary, but I looked it up online. And it says relation is a connection to people or things, how you relate to it and how it relates to you. Ship is a state of being. So relationship is your connection or relation to people and things and how you all relate one to the other. So means to what? Return. So relate means to bring back. Related means brought back. So here we are experiencing this relationship with Allah through our knowledge that is being taught to us by way of our ears and our eyes and registered in our minds. And you know when it's right. I know when it's right because of the experiences I told you I had as a little girl and as a teenager. I can't prove that to anybody, but nobody can disprove it either because they didn't have it. But there are many people, even some of you here, if not all of you, who know how you got here. You see. Now, today's date is December 29th, 2023. So I broke it down by numbers into 12. And I see the numerology teacher is here, so you can chime in anytime. So I broke it down to 12, 29, and 7, then 3, 2, 7, then 5 and 7, which came to 12 or equals 3. So I looked up what they said 3 is online, and it says you lean into your own intuition. Leaning into your own intuition. So that was giving me some direction about how to present. You know, but I'm using these little books right here at first because I wanted to make sure I didn't leave out what I came here to do. Now, when you come into any organization or meet anybody, you already get a sense where the Sheikh Sufi Ba says, where do you feel it? Where's your spirit? And people pointed here because your heart. There was a guy on radio, national radio one day that said they found a little on the left side of the brain, a little thing that looks like a left side of the heart that looks like a brain. It has the folds and twists and turns like a brain. I don't know, I haven't seen it, but that's what they said. So when we say I feel it in my heart, some people say, oh, it's just a tissue. It's just an organ in your heart. It doesn't have any feelings. But I have a naturopathic doctor, and I went to her, and she put this iridology, you know, now they don't just look at it with their eyes. They also, it's a machine. And in the machine, it said that at age 33, I died. She said, why are you here? This says you died at age 33. And well, I was in a terrible explosion. Someone put a bomb in my apartment, boom. We got out. Of course, the fire department said they would be back the next day to find the bodies because it was too dark to look for the bodies. And I said, well, we are the bodies. And they said, you couldn't have gotten out. Another example of the power of Allah. It's not a belief. Believe got lie right in the middle of it. I don't do the believe word. I don't believe in something. Either I know it or I don't know it, and I'm going to research until I find out. I may think and weigh something, but I haven't reached a conclusion about it until I know about it. And so that they said I couldn't have gotten out, or me and my husband couldn't have gotten out, but we got out by the will of Allah. We got out because there wasn't that time to go. The voice in my mind said, go crawl on the floor and crawl out the door. And that's what I did. Now, in terms of relationships, that is my relationship with this energy, with this power, with this spirit that people call by various names: Allah, Yahweh, Yahweh, Oladumarel, Duduwa. I can't speak Chinese, so I don't know what to say for that. But in India, they call Shiva, Brahman, Vishnu, different names, and they have stories to go with all of them. So there's no place on earth where Allah is not. There's no place in the earth where Allah is not. There's no place above the earth where Allah is not. This is a divine, eternal relationship between Allah and all that has manifested from Allah. In science class, they gave us the story of the atom. Of course, in the Bible, they say Adam. And one of the stories, I'm coming back to the atom, but one of the stories in the Bible says that man sinned because he wanted he discovered the tree of good and evil, or the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But that's not no sin in that. You ought to have knowledge of good and evil. But before you can have knowledge of good and evil, you need to have knowledge of your relationship with Allah. Because your mind, which is your physical part of your spirit, can trick you. Because there's all kind of energies out here. In the Yoruba, they call it trickster a legba or eshu. In a Sarset, they call it trickster energy sebek. But it's not a trickster. It's a form of communication so that you can make the right choice. I don't know how many of you have overcome all of your emotional reactions and responses to things. I don't know how many of you have a relationship with your indwelling intelligence. I can only presume that everybody here has. I used to be a hothead as a little girl, especially if you did something wrong, like hurt somebody or hit somebody or lie. Definitely don't lie. Don't lie around. My name was Myra at the time. Don't lie around Myra because she'll find you out. Well, that was how I exercised my hothead. I didn't pick a fight. But if I warn you, don't do something, and you did it anyway, we would have to deal with that. So the relationship I feel I have always had with Allah, I feel like I've had it since I was in the womb. My mother said she couldn't eat meat while she was carrying me. And she used to get god awful hot. And it rained 3 days and 3 nights before it was decided by the gods that be that it was time for me to leave her womb and come out. So I came out on August 2nd, 1944. That means also that I came in with the energy of people who were fighting, people who were at war. All of us who came during that period came out during the energy of fighting. And I've always been a fighter, but I didn't get into fights. I became a safety patrol so I could stop people from fighting. So my fights were with what's right and what's not right. And as time went on, I found more and more times I was led to places where I could get more and more knowledge, and ultimately and eventually led here. So someone suggested, one of my wonderful sister friends suggested that I talk about relationships. Now, I know she wasn't talking about relationship with God, but that's where I start. If you don't have that relationship, then when you get into your other more so-called personal relationships, you're going to have problems and you won't know how to solve them. You'll say things like, oh, he makes me mad. Or he'll say things like, she is just full of emotion. You can't say nothing to her. She always going to get mad and jump back at you. Or the kind of guy that says, well, if you open your mouth one more time, I'm going to smack you down. You won't say no more. I bet that'll shut you up. Or she might say, yeah, well, you hit me, I'll get a frying pan and knock you senseless. I did know of a sister in New York who did knock her husband out with a frying pan. So these emotions come out because we have not been trained how to stay at peace before we jump into the fire. Now, I talked about a little bit about the ocean, but what brings water? If you're in a hot room, you're going to bring water. You're going to sweat, which brings the water. That's a relationship. The relationship between fire or heat and water. What else has a relationship that, for example, water? You can put water in a dirty pan or a dirty dish, and what will it do? It will draw the waste off of whatever that is, the bowl or the pan. So water has the power to extract. It extracts dirt from your clothes. It extracts dirt from you. It extracts waste from your body in terms of urine and your bowel movements. Or if you're unbalanced on your stomach, it'll extract the liquids from your stomach in the form of regurgitating or vomiting. So when we get to understand, my first teacher was a Rastaman, and he's the one that told me, your relationship, they call it Jah, your relationship with Jah is your relationship with the elements. So you need to learn about the elements. So you came during the hot summertime. So you came during the fire. So when you look at your elemental table, which they call the horoscope, you will see that you have one fire, quite a bit of earth, and no air. And look back over your relationships, and I look back over my relationships, and sure enough, my more serious, close relationships were with people who had air. So he was saying to me, what you don't have a lot of is what the universe at that time, is what Jah, as he said, is what Allah will bring to you, because God, Allah, is all about balance. All about balance. How do you know that? Why do you have high and low, hot and cold, wet and dry? That's balance. America or the United States, I don't know about the other countries, their idea of a symbol for justice is a blind woman. The Kemetic symbol for justice is a woman with wings. Higher consciousness it symbolizes. Is a woman who has her eyes wide open. So when our people meet one another in the hall of judgment, which is the hall of justice, they're not blind. They see exactly what's going on and how to weigh that. According to ancient Kemet, your heart has to be light as a feather or lighter than a feather. Y'all with me? Well, if you're with me, say yes.
Yes, yes.
Amen.
If you have any
Yes.
questions, we can pause here. And anybody want to, have a comment you want to make or a question you want to ask, we can come in right here and take a break. Anybody got question or comments they want to make?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
This is Sister Saffron. Thank you for being here. I'm really, really appreciating everything you're bringing forward. Through my Moorish science study, I was taught that Egypt represented the lower self. And the example that we were giving was when Jesus was in the wilderness and Satan was tempting him. That was an example of him working things out in his lower self. So it really intrigued me when you mentioned Egypt and relating it to bondage. So my question was, what system did you get that from? And did they give you any understandings or examples that you're able to share with us today, inshallah?
Okay, I'm a more science person too. Came under Noah Drew Ali with a brother named Kedar Bey, who's now made his transition. No, I didn't learn that from any program. I told you I'm a researcher. I got to find out, what does this mean? Like, I looked up relationships so I could be precise and exact. And I looked up the word Egypt, and it said bondage. And I know that people in these different parts of the world, yeah, wow. I don't know how y'all gonna take some of this, but in the Bible, let me go back. In the Bible, it says in the new covenant, and I think it's 1 John 8:44. And it says, you who call yourselves Jews and are not, but are the sons and daughters of Satan. And he was a liar before you, and you are a liar just like him. Now, I read it. I never heard a preacher preach on it or ever speak on it. But I noticed in the world that everybody seems to be scared or reluctant to say anything about Jews that's not complimentary, or people who call themselves Jews. See, the word I learned from a Hebrew teacher, a melanated man, that the word Hebrew means those who crossed over the water. In ancient Kemetic history or Egyptian history, there's no story about no Jews being enslaved. So one has to ask, are they speaking metaphorically, or are they just telling an out and out lie? Only your research and your connection to Allah leading you to the right information is going to give you the answers. That's why I tell people, you got a relationship with Allah, you got a relationship with God, you got a relationship with Yahweh, and you scared? What you scared of? I am not scared. The only thing I'm scared of is in the last day when my soul is being judged, and they said to me, all right, we sent you down there to do your job, and you didn't do it. That's the only thing I'm scared of. After I went through that explosion and my heart didn't tremble, believe you me, what's the fear? Then there's another part in the Bible that says, the fear of God is the beginning of understanding. And the preachers I've heard preach on that, they didn't know what they were talking about. I used to ask as a little, talk to children. The children got the right answers and the right questions, but you got to help them discern it so they can put it in its right order. But I asked the question, why are we supposed to be scared of God? Ain't he supposed to be our Father? Why should we be scared of our Father? They couldn't explain that to me. They said, well, you'll learn it, you'll know better by and by. Well, now I know better. And what it means from the biblical, from that book, what it means is to understand that the most powerful and all-powerful energy on the planet, in the planet, above it, and everything throughout the universe is this thing we call Allah or God. It's all powerful. It doesn't mean be scared of it. It means having the understanding that you don't just throw it around. You don't just bust into it with no respect. You don't just be dishonorable to it. But the preacher couldn't tell me that because he didn't know. So when the one they called Jesus, and by the way, the J didn't even come into existence until the 15th century. How did I learn that? Research. I asked the question, why is he called Jesus when in the old covenant, which they call Testament, he was called Emmanuel? How did it change from Emmanuel to Jesus? Who changed it and why? No preacher could answer that either because they didn't know. They never even taught us that it was 200, I think, y'all correct me, it's either 200 or 400 years between the Old Testament and the New Testament. And who is this dude called Paul? And why was he so important? See, so we are Sufi people, according to what I'm understanding, are born with this innate intelligence, this innate inquiry, this innate suspicion about order of things. So if you Sufi, you have to research. You have to find out. That's just in your nature. You have to know the truth. And you don't go to somebody to find the truth. You go to Allah to find the truth. And one day you're going to be walking down the street and you're going to pass by a bookstore and you're going to say, oh, what kind of books they got in there? You had no intention of going to the bookstore. You didn't even know the bookstore was there. And you go in there and you end up in the 3rd row, 4th section, and there you look and there's a book that tells you exactly what you want to know. You wasn't even looking for the book, but your soul was looking for the book. Your heart was looking for the book. You were looking for the knowledge that was in the book. What is it called? From Kabbalah. And that happened to me. And I was in this bookstore, and it was a Jewish bookstore called Wisner's over in the Village in New York. And I went on in there, and I had been reading about the Kabbalah. I started researching this stuff when I was like 25 years old. And Kabbalah meant from mouth to ear. And he had a book on the shelf, thick book, and it was called the Kabbalah. Now, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to confront Jews or none of that. I could just come up from down south. I didn't know none of that, none of that. So I said, how can you have a book called remember I told you the little girl, I was always confronting people. I said, how could you have a book called the Kabbalah when Kabbalah means from mouth to ear? And he said, well, this is the knowledge that was written and come from ancient times. I said, no, I don't mean like that. I mean, either what's in that book is a lie or from mouth to ear is a lie. Which one is a lie? He said, well, young lady, I suggest you buy the book. I didn't. So when Jesus was up in the desert being tempted by Shaitan, I'm gonna say what it wasn't. That story was meant to teach us a lesson. And the lesson came in the form of a metaphor. And a metaphor is this. If you're a person whose life is focused on truth, if you're a person whose life is focused on love, if you're a person whose life is focused on wisdom, you are going to be challenged. And when that challenge comes, you have to be strong on your square. That's what they taught us in Noble Drew Ali. You got to stand on your square. Elijah Muhammad taught the Muslim brothers when they stand, I think it's like this, the side of their foot, they put the heel in, and that makes a square. These things are symbolisms meant to teach lessons and prepare us for what's coming and how to deal with it when it comes. So they said in the book that Jesus or Yahshua said, or Emmanuel said, get thee behind me, Satan. Now that's supposed to mean, you have no effect on me. Just get out of the way. I don't say get thee behind me. I don't want no evil behind me, beside me, in front of me, above me, or below me. So I don't say get thee behind me. I say, you ain't got no place here. You need to go to your place because you have no place here. So in a source set, now they teach us by way of what they call the 11 laws. And the first law is, I am made in a likeness of a piece that nothing can disturb. Not that nothing can destroy. We don't even get to destroy because we don't allow nothing to disturb our peace. And how do you do that? You do that by what you do with zikkering. Don't you know that's what happens when you zikr? Not only are you in a state of peace, but you're growing new brain cells. How did I learn that? because I was reading a book by a Sufi master, and it said you grow new brain cells when you zikr. And then the folks came out with it later on the, on the not the news, but like education channel, education station, talking about how you grow brain cells when you meditate. So yes, Sheikh Abdul Rahman Ba.
Assalamu alaikum. I was just actually I thought that was a clapping symbol. But since I'm on here, I just want to say assalamu alaikum, Islam. I met you in Virginia when Sheikh came down this year. You have a beautiful soul, beautiful energy. I took a picture with you. We had an amazing time. And I got a quick comment. I'm glad that you bringing up the Asar Aset. In 2008, on my journey seeking knowledge, I went to Milwaukee to the center there, and I met a guy who was a king. He went back to Africa. I think he was a part of the Asar set, and I think he took a DNA test, found out he was a king, and I was chosen to consult the oracle. And the cards that I received 3 cards. And I'm saying this because this led me to where I am today.
I can feel it before you said it.
The cards that I received was, number 1 was Amen, which is peace. The second card was All Set. And the third card was Hirukuti.
Whoa.
Yes. And so I didn't know what all that meant. So the brother King told me, he said, you are, he called me a scholar warrior.
Yeah.
And he said, go watch the movie Hurricane from Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I went and I watched that movie and I said, okay, but it became really clear for me today what those cards meant. Because for the fact that years ago, and this is how I met Sheikh Sufi. Years ago, I seen a brother had an album cover and it said Scholar Warrior. I can't remember what that brother name is. Maybe somebody in the group know who I'm talking about. And he had on one side of the album cover, in the middle of it was Malcolm X. On the other side of it was the Sheikh Uthman Dan Folio. And on the other side of it was Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba. I was like, I know who Malcolm is. I know who Malcolm X is. Who's these other 2 men? And so, of course, naturally, like you just said, I did my research. And I did. And I did. And I found out who Sheikh Uthman Dan Folio was. From Nigeria, from the Sokoto Caliphate. And then I learned about Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba. And not to keep a long story short, that's how I met Sheikh Sufi when I did my research on Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba. And that's what led me to here, because the Amen card, I needed peace in my life. Yep. That is our natural state.
Yes.
And our set is the foundation. She's the devotion. She was so devoted to Asar.
Come on.
She was devoted, so I had to find devotion in my relationship with Allah. And now to this day, I went to the doctor today, and I told because my nurse was telling me, I was telling her I'm off my depression pills. I don't take my anxiety pills. I don't need none of that stuff, because I'm at peace. For the first time in my life, I'm in peace, and I depend on nothing but Allah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, and thank you so much, because I got to comment on it, because I can't tell people who are in a state of depression or anxiety this, but I can tell you, because you're out of it. And that's this: you were just being chased. You hear what I'm saying? You were just being chased. I tell people all the time.
I mean,
you know what I'm talking about, because I tell when I'm doing a group like this or a bigger group, I said, listen here. Why would Satan or Shaitan or Luciferian energy come after you if it's already got you? It's coming after the ones with the light. It can see your light. Evil ain't blind. What that boy named Donald Trump, he ain't blind. That other one, Elon Musk, he not blind. They know exactly what they're doing. They serve that kind of God. And now people say, but there's only one God. Yeah, but who made Shaitan? Folks forget about that part. So what would be Allah's purpose of creating an energy like Shaitan? The same purpose for creating a cold and hot. The same purpose for creating daytime and nighttime. The same purpose for creating a baby in the womb where you can't even see it and you making it and you don't even know what you're making until it's born. Same purpose. People want to create God in their own image. And then when it don't suit their image or don't fit their image, then they say, well, they can't be real. A preacher asked me one day, he said, do you believe in the devil? I said, no. You don't believe in the devil? I said, no, I don't believe in no devil. He said, but you know that there is a devil, right? I said, yeah, I know it is. He said, but how can you know it and not believe it? I said, I only believe in one thing. I believe in God, the one that made the devil. So, you know, I can't believe in both of them. Even in science class, it tells you no two things can occupy the same space at the same time. You got to use science. And sister, I'm still speaking to you too, darling. When this word Jesus showed up, my first question was, why they call him Jesus when his name was Emmanuel in the Old Testament? And I don't forgot the meaning of Emmanuel. And y'all Hebrew students out there, break in and tell us the name of Emmanuel, but it's much stronger than Jesus. So your name, Sheikh Abdul Rahman Ba. I don't know about Abdul, but Rahman and Ba all out of ancient Kemet. You are the man with light. You are the man of light. And not only are you the man of light, your Ba tells you that you carry it. See, it's and those energies saw you and try to put doubt in your head. I'm the doubt remover because it doesn't matter what people say. What matters is, go ahead. What matters is your relationship with your indwelling intelligence. It knows everything. You riding down the street, you're going to see Jack. Well, Jack lives on 27th and Q. Well, I'm going to go on right on Q so I can get to 27th Street. And Spirit tell you, no, don't go that way. Keep going straight. And you say, why my mind telling me go? Child, I know where Jack lives. And you go down there and it's a big old sinkhole down there. You didn't know it was down there, but a lot knew it was down there and tried to warn you. See? So we have to have this relationship with Allah, not in just words, not in just making salat, not in just saying the prayers and give me another year, I'm gonna know all these words. Not just that. It's listening, it's obeying, it's not doubting. You know the word doubt got out in it? So we don't want to do that. What I learned with a source set was the meditations. What I have learned observing what's going on in Sufism is the zikkering. And zikkering is a meditation. You got to do something 12,000 times. That's a meditation, if there ever was one. So what does a meditation do other than give you brand new brain cells? Meditation also helps you to identify what God feels like inside of you. You know what fear feels like. I bet everybody in here knows what fear feels like. I bet everybody in here knows what happiness feels like. What does Allah feel like? Anybody? Somebody? I'll tell you what Allah feels like to my person. All knowing. No doubt. All knowing. Isa Bey shared a file in the meeting. Shall we go to that? I created a shirt titled, "We're on an Emmanuel mission equal God is with us." Thank you, thank you, thank you. So why did they change it? They didn't want you to see that. They didn't want you to know that God, Allah, is always with you. It ain't going nowhere. Then they're going to create a story that the dude got crucified. And then they want to make it seem like God won't with him no more. That's just pure T stomped down evil. And the word evil got live in it, which is good to live. You see how they mix the good with the bad? They want to create, all praise be to Allah. I'm telling you, I'm having a downpour. They want to create doubt in you. That's what they do. The word Christian in Richmond, Ralph Samuel, remember that name because sometimes I might forget it. Ralph Samuel was a real estate broker here in Richmond. He had a gathering at his office one night and he gave out this flyer. At the top of the flyer was the word Christian. Underneath of it was shadow letters transposing it to Antichrist. Come on now. That's why we study numerology. If Antichrist and Christian got the same letters and the same numerical value, then it is the same. Yes. Sufi people, we cannot walk in doubt. We have to walk in knowingness. We have to walk in the relationship. This is Allah. We have to walk in the relationship that we have with Allah with as reality. Our relationship, and now where the sister wanted me to go, our relationship with one another. A man sees a woman and he feels something vibrating inside of his solar plexus. That's why you got to learn about your chakras. Here, your solar plexus right here, and it's vibrating. And you see this chick, and you say, I got to say something to her. And she see you coming. And she in her mind said, he sure is fine. I got to say something to him. And as you get closer, she turned to act like she ain't even notice you. That's the dance. But in America, they're destroying the dance between the male and the female. They're destroying the dance between God and his people. Oh, yeah. Even by putting it in law, they call it, I don't even remember that either. They call it, where the man no longer opens the door. Women liberation. I remember when the women liberation movement came past me. I said, excuse me, I'm a Black woman. I'm a woman of color. I'm melanated. I've been liberated. I was born liberated. I work, wash, I do farm, plow the garden. I do everything. So what you gonna liberate me from? My man? Basically, that's what its purpose is, to liberate you from your God man. And you the one that brought him in the world. That's where our set comes in. Our set, the mother energy. Our set sacrifice everything to put our set back together again. Y'all need to, if you don't know the story, get with Sheikh Abdul Rahman Bar. He'll tell you the story. You need to know that story because that our set energy is the energy that we Black, brown, tan women got to have for our man and for our sons. That's why they can run off and put them in jail. When Sheikh Zulu came and talked to me not too long ago, and he was telling me things he had seen, and I said, what? And of course, I got nephews who've been to jail, and they come back telling me about how young the brothers are in jail. Not to mention the report that these people know by the time a Black child, I said Black, but I don't like using that word because I ain't Black. I had to tell that white girl that one day when I was a little girl. She said, my mama said, I can't play with you because you Black. I put my hand on a black car. I said, what color is that car? She said, black. I said, what color is my hand? She said, brown. I said, well, your mother's a liar, see? So the whole point of the fact of the matter is they were telling me about, that these report was that by the time a brown child knows, a melanated child, a male especially, reaches 3 years old, they already know how many jails they have to build. And unless you've been put in prison or jail for an extended length of time, sisters and some of y'all brothers, you have no idea what them boys go through. None. That's why we have to get them. That's our duty, because they are Allah filled too. They're just being put in a trick bag so they don't recognize it. You ever seen somebody you ain't seen in a long time? And you knew them way back when, and you seeing them now, you don't recognize them. Remember, recognize got R-E, that means again. So you got to get into your memory bank and you keep looking at them, and after a while, oh yeah, I know you so-and-so. Well, we have to begin to recognize what our indwelling intelligence is. We have to begin to share this with the world, to recognize the God that dwells in them as them. Anybody out there can make your heart stop beating? Or if it stopped, can you make it start again? Oh, well then, oh, wait a minute. Can you make yourself digest your food? Do you know what digest means? Di is divide. Can you do that? Or ingest, that means bring it in. See? So until you can do those things, then you can only rely on Allah. Now I was getting ready to tell y'all back when there was a picture of an atom in my science class in the 6th grade. And the atom split. And then you had the proton, neutron, electron, and I don't know what else. And then they told us about the molecules. And in the molecules, there were atoms, and none of these things you could see. But you trusted the science teacher, and the science teacher trusted the books. And the books was trusted by the scientists who did the experiments for something they cannot see. Come on, y'all. Y'all know where I'm going with this. So we'll be in science class and they'll tell us that this is an atom and it's splitting, and this is a molecule and it holds an atom and all this kind of stuff. Well, while I was looking at the picture, everything went pink around me. And a voice spoke to me like before and said, they think I am coming as one, but I am coming as many, and you are one of them. And I know y'all know who you are. You know you're on a mission. You know this choice, delectable meal of knowledge that you're being fed by way of Sheikh Sufi Ba, and I don't know how many other teachers you all have had. Don't throw away any of your teachers. It's all Allah. It's a pattern. It's a mix. Would you eat raw egg and raw flour and raw sugar and raw milk? No, but you would eat it if it was a cake. See? So that's what we are becoming. We are being redesigned and remixed to become these teachers and examples of what Allah looks like. The Bible said, you are made in the image and likeness of a God. And yet they didn't tell us what that looked like. Ron Nefamin, the source said, you made in the image and likeness of a peace that nothing can disturb. So a split second before you get ready to holler at somebody with a temper, not holler because you want to be loud, but holler because now you mad. 1 second before that, you can say Bismillah, or you can say Allah's Akbar, or you can say any of those things that you've been taught to say, or you can learn the 11 laws and say any of them. They all come from the same source. Queen Mother, could you please leave your contact information? Sure. And brother Sheikh Abdul Rahman Ba, I think he has it. Sister Ayeshe has it. Zima, she has it. So yeah, anybody who wants it can have it. Or y'all can invite me to come again. I mean, I love this. I love singing. Singing is what I always thought I should be doing. And I did. I sang magnificently, wonderfully in New York. Always got standing ovation. I'm not saying I'm saying because I was the best singer. I thought Gene Carn was the best singer I'd ever heard. However, my presence, as my drummer told me the other day, he said, it was your presence. When you walked out on stage, everybody felt something had come on that stage before you even open your mouth to sing. But I find that when I went on stage, I also gave messages. I didn't just start singing. I would give the message that was in the song, and then I would sing it. And now Allah has me giving the message. And I got this feeling that sooner or later it's going to come back together, but it's going to be right. So I just want y'all to know, whatever gift you have been given, it is all from Allah. I try to tell my musician family members, y'all musicians, but what y'all got to learn is that is not your music. You like a guitar. You sit down at the guitar and you play it. The guitar don't play itself. We have this gift of music. We don't play ourselves. It's Allah playing us. And all we got to do is what? What's that word y'all use? Submit, get out the way, and let Allah play the music through you. And that's what it's all about. Relationship between male and female. The mother is the first love of the son, and the father is the first love of the daughter. And males, fathers and sons are always competing. Mothers and daughters always competing. Oh, they don't call it that, but I know what it is. I've looked at it and looked at it for a long time. But the father and the daughter, oh, she always makes him feel 100%. There's nothing she can do that's wrong. And the mother and the son, he makes her feel 100%. And she can't do no wrong in his eyes. So when a mother does do something that's crazy, the son is hurt deeper than y'all can ever understand. And when a father does something crazy, the daughter doesn't understand. It knocks her understanding right off the pedal. She doesn't understand. Why is he acting like that? What's wrong with him? You see, there's my son, Sheikh Zulu. You know I done called your name.
I just wanted to know how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
How many what?
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
As many licks as it takes.
Hey, Mama, y'all, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I had to tap in real quick. I'm in the ethers, but I knew you were speaking tonight. I just wanted to come in and be a student again for a second to get some of that good cooking. Give thanks. As soon as I turned it on, I've only been on it like 10 minutes, and man, you was frying it up. Even if you make all that flour and stuff, I'm gonna eat your flour and eggs, and if Mama Yama cooking, I'm eating.
I'm gonna tell y'all a secret. Zulu always came to my house to eat beans and rice. He tell all them girlfriends, beans and rice.
And thank you for my I gotta go, but thank you for my 10-minute healing. You just said some stuff to help me real that quick.
Really? All praise be to Allah.
That's
I love the way Allah uses me.
Really?
Just keep on using me. What that song said, keep on using me until you use me up. But you can't use up Allah. That's eternal.
I'll call you later tonight. Love
all
you.
Right, darling. I love you. All right. So, see, we called his name, there he came. That's how it is with Allah. Allah, that's all Allah. I didn't do that. You know, your phone rang, you pick up. Hey, man, I've been thinking about you, man. I'm so glad. Excuse me, who did that? What energy made that transpire? See, that's our relationship. That same relationship is supposed to be between your woman and you, between your man and you. What is with all this explaining? Your heart belongs to her, her heart belongs to you. Ain't nothing to explain. I remember my grandfather and my grandmother were married for 66, I don't know, maybe more than 66. I think they were married more like 70-something years. 66 was when they had a party for them, but they passed away years after that. But my grandfather, he was not the kind of man that was said by my grandmother, oh, she thinks she know everything. You can't do nothing around here if she don't okay it. He never had no spirit like that. He said, Georgia, he called her, you know, back in them days, they call you Miss Georgia, and I can't think of the other one he called her. That was more like a fun name, you know. But he said, I ain't buying no house till she said that's the house to buy. He didn't say, I don't need no woman tell me when to buy a house. I don't need no woman tell me that's the right house. Man, you gotta have a relationship with your woman that makes y'all understand that you represent the male and female aspects of Allah. And she has to understand it too. And see, they have certain things in culture. Culture is a way of life. Agriculture, this brother told me, was the first culture. So, man, so much I want to say, and I just don't have it. I wish I could just paint a picture and you see it all. And in culture, African culture in particular, and specifically in Nigeria and Ghana, I don't know what they do now because I haven't been to Africa, and I'm disappointed in certain things that is going on there, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to go. But the children, before they could speak, they would stand in the doorway and 1, 2, 3. What's so powerful about that number 3? Maybe we have to save that for another time. But 1, 2, 3, and they were down on their knee, which shows humility, which shows I'm not above my elders. I can't be above my elder. My number ain't even as high as theirs. So how you gonna have a lower number and stand higher than the person you? Oh, come on, you know what I'm saying. So the child had to stand there or sit there or kneel there until the elder recognized them. You know, it wasn't no such a thing as why you make him stand there that long. You see him there. Why don't you? Nobody did that. That's how the child learned respect. The woman. In Ghana and I think Nigeria too. But in Ghana, before the king gets to be the king, who got to put the stamp of approval on him? Who knows that? The queen mother. Or he don't get to be no king. That's the truth. That's how it goes. See? But we over here in the West with the mess, trying to make our men disrespect our women and the women disrespect themselves. If your mama, your sister, your cousin running around half naked with the breasts hanging out and the butt almost showing, and you don't like it, you don't stand there and be quiet. You may not say nothing then, but you wait 2 weeks, a month, a day. Step up to her on the side. You know what Elijah Muhammad said? He said, sisters, if you want these brothers to treat you with respect, you got to lower your hemline, lower your skirt, lower your dress. And you know what he'll do? He'll raise his mind. Elijah Muhammad wasn't no joke. Peace and blessings be upon him. Folks don't want to give him his due. We'd rather give due to somebody overseas somewhere. Elijah Muhammad did what he came here to do. And it ain't his fault if the black people turn away from him. What the Bible say about that? The Bible says if they refuse to hear your word, my word that you bring into them, you knock the dust off your feet and walk away. And as Sufi, with all this mysticism, numerology, all of this that we're getting, you don't owe nothing to nobody. You have already graduated. Allah gave you your comeuppance. Allah gave you that. He gave all of us this. We worked for this. I've been working since I was 3 years old. I didn't even know what I was working with or what I was, or why. I didn't know that. It's like math, you know? If it's 2 plus 2, it's going to give you 4. Where my other one at? Yeah. If it's 2 plus 2, it's going to give you 4. If it's 1 plus 2, there you go, 3. No matter what you do, you cannot imperfect perfect. Numbers are perfect. You can do 5 plus 2 will give you 7. 2 from 9 will give you 7. 4 plus 3 will give you 7. All these numbers will give you 7. But how did you get to the 7? The numbers themselves have their own vibration and their own energy. So you may have got to New York by 95. I might have got to New York by 17. Well, we both got to New York. That's what I'm saying. So we got to have a greater respect and honor for this great creation called so-called man and womb man. And then you got to look at the table of elements. Please take, it was just a table of elements to me in science class. But that was a law again, because later on in life, when I was dealing with metaphysics and studying all that stuff, I said, wait a minute, this is a table of elements. Look at the word female. In the table of elements, what is Fe? It's iron. What is male? Male got ma in it. Didn't I tell you the little boy child is hooked to his mama? And lay, I haven't been doing the research on all of it, but lay is like in France or something for the. So mama, the iron of the man. The woman, the iron of the man. That's why you hear them folks say for every great man, there's a great woman that's behind him or something like that. And also be careful what you take up with. I love walking behind a man. Anybody gonna tell me, oh, you ain't gotta walk behind a man. You ain't gotta be in my business. You know why I love walking behind a man? In Europe or in England and America, they say ladies first. First, I'm not a lady. Lady comes from the word laddie, which comes from the ship captain calling the little boys to come down his cabin so he can have you know what with him. So I won't never know boy. And if I was, I ain't now. So I don't want to be related to that. Laddie. No, so I'm not a lady. I tell people that don't call me no lady. I might be a sister, a mama. I might be a cousin, an auntie, a grandma. You know, I got a whole lot of names. I could be what the song say? A woman, a lover, a friend, all of that. But I ain't no laddie. So you have to look at what you're doing as you're studying these truths. You got to change your culture, your cultural dynamic, if it's coming from the West. Because they don't know, they say only fools follow fools. And look in the Bible, they tell you about fools too, and the wise man. That's in one of them books, I don't know. But it tells you, warns you about following a person who does not know, a person who thinks he knows, a person who knows that he don't know, and a person who does know and knows that he knows. So you want to choose the right thing to follow. And sisters, when I was under the covenant of Rastafari, which I still am, I don't throw away any of my covenants. I am one with it because Allah is one. I wasn't a Christian and then I became a this, and then I left that and became a that. I'm one. I'm everything. Right? You got a brain, you got a head, you got eyes, you got ears, you got nose, you got mouth, you got neck, through all of that stuff. What you gonna do without one of them? So I'm sharing with you all that they would say a woman, the Bible says a woman supposed to separate from her man when she has her cycle for 7 days. Well, I told you I was now little when I found that out, because I used to read the Bible all the time. As soon as I learned how to read, I read that book. And I said, why y'all in the kitchen? I thought y'all supposed to separate yourself and say, oh, girl, that's the Old Testament. So I learned the first deception. Then the other one, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not, all of that. Then I learned the first lie, that people wasn't following it and they wasn't scared not to follow it. I was scared to death. So when I became under the covenant of Rastafari, the brothers taught us that we're supposed to go on the, the girls, in other words, the sisters hung out with sisters. I didn't have to cook. That was the best part. Oh God, I ain't got to cook. Woo! I didn't have to go in the kitchen. I didn't have to wash no dishes. I didn't have to wash his clothes. I didn't have to touch nothing that belonged to him. You think I didn't enjoy that? Yes, I did. That was our culture. And that was respect for the word. And the book tell you what, the Bible. In the beginning was the word, and the word was Allah, and the word was with Allah. So if Allah is dwelling in you as you, then the word is with you. Don't let nobody tell you crap. Stay with the word. As Sheikh Sufi Bar said, stay with the weird, stay with the butterfly. There's an order to the butterfly's elevation. You see? And there was an order to my elevation when they taught me that. I learned that I can not be, I'm messing up with the English, but I learned that it was all right to not want to be around somebody when my cycle was on. I never wanted to be around nobody when my cycle was on. But nobody gave me no rules and told me how to do that. Never, ever, ever. And when I started having company, whatever they call it back in the day, taking company, when my mom and dad let me date and my cycle came on, I would inch away from him and he inched towards me. And I couldn't tell him. He wouldn't even know what I was talking about. I didn't want him to touch me. That was in me, indwelling. But there had been no guidance to show me what to do with that feeling. And a lot of children have these feelings. And grown people say, well, that's all right. Or they'll tell them, well, you're being selfish. And anybody who heard me speak or heard me use this example right here. Your little girl wants my son's ice cream. So she started crying so she can get the ice cream. And I tell my son, don't give her that. And the girl mama said, you being selfish. Why are you teaching that boy how to be selfish? I said, why you teach her how to be a beggar? Why you teach her that? Why you teach her that it's okay for her to scream and cry for anything she wants? I don't do Valentine's Day. That's not my day. I might do Oshun. I'm not going to do no Valentine's Day. I don't do Christmas. Look what they tell you. It's a mass for Christ. But what is Christ? That we could go on and on. So this love that you have for Allah is the same love you have for your wife or your girlfriend or your woman. This love you have for Allah is the love you have for your man and for your children. And come on now. We don't need no more of this arguing or telling other women, oh, he just get on my nerves. He just this, he just that. He always trying to tell me what to do. Well, if you have a son, you already know that's in their nature. All little boys, I got a grandson and I got hundreds of cousins, and they all try to tell you what to do. You don't mind them telling you. So when they get grown, why you mind it? And you as Osset or as the mother or the queen of the house, I'm going to tell you this in front of the brothers, but I ain't going to tell you all of it. That's your power. Your power is to help him know how to approach you. But he'll never know, because as soon as he starts approaching you, how he thinks something is, you ready to blow up or cry. You want peace in your home. You want peace in your heart. You want peace in your life. You want peace raising your children. Then follow, first of all, since you're Sufi, follow your zikring. In terms of education and knowledge, follow the 11 laws of Asar Set, or what they call the 11 laws of Ma'at. They're right. They ain't gonna lead you wrong. And you'll see some of the stuff that you're learning in Sufi right here in it. That he said he was Herakahuti. Herakahuti is the power of God to fix it right. And I got some Herakahuti too. My Herakahuti is connected to my faith in Almighty God. Nobody can shake it. That's where my Herakahuti is. And when they read that to me, I said, oh Lord, that's right. How they know that? See, Herakahuti is the Ogun in Yoruba. See, everything is connected to everything because Allah is one. Nobody is telling you to worship different gods. Do you worship your eyes and don't worship your mouth? Do you worship your mouth and don't worship your stomach? Come on now. You don't worship these things. They're part of your tools to go through life. So these are our spiritual tools. Herakahuti, you are living as the likeness of God when instead of seeking vengeance, you allow the law of reaping what you have sown to automatically restore the balance that has been disturbed. While you hold in your mind thoughts of redemption for the one who has transgressed against you. And the Bible said that too. Say, forgive your enemies. But that's not why. You're not forgiving them to forgive them. You're forgiving them to release yourself from the foolishness that they done brought. You don't need to be a part of that. Just let it go. What they said, let go, let God. Okay. Any questions? Any comments? I don't even know how far I am because I don't have a clock. But I really want to say thank you so much for inviting me to spend time here with you all. And I'm looking to the time that y'all gonna spend with me to teach me these prayers and the salats and all that stuff. I've been with Muslims probably half of my adult life. My daughter went to Clara Muhammad School. I have friends who are Muslim, been knowing them for over 40 years. My daughter is 42, so I've been knowing them at least 45 years. But that wasn't for me. But this is for me. So I just want to just share with you the unity of all things and share with the males and the females who say they love one another. What is love? According to what Sheikh Sufabah said, I got some notes I haven't even looked at. Love is direct connection to the being of love. And what's the being of love? Allah. So when you're telling somebody, I love you, and you ain't considering Allah, you ain't seeing Allah in a relationship, you ain't loving them. You ain't even loving yourself because you're allowing yourself to be deceived by yourself. Don't do that. Let all that negative Western BS bathe it away from you. Take spiritual baths. Sheikh, I was looking at him today, Sheikh Subabai, he said he got some spiritual baths he done made for people. You know, at the same time, you get yourself right, you go out in your yard and let Allah lead you to the herbs and things you need and make spiritual baths for your family. Come on now. Male, female, children of Allah, always put Allah first. Let Allah be the guard over your house. Let Allah be the joining relationship between you and your woman, between you and your man. I was in the parking lot one day in Richmond. My girlfriend and I, we had on these beautiful, beautiful African garments. And the brothers who were parking the cars, they were elder men too. And they said, "Oh, y'all look so beautiful. I wish my wife would wear stuff like that." I said, "Have you ever bought anything like that for her?" He said, "She ain't gonna wear that stuff." I said, "Does she know you would like to see her in that?" He said, "I figure ain't no need in talking to her about it." You see all that negative energy? All of that. He don't even know what she would say if he said it. He don't know what she would. She might say, "I'll wear it, but I'm just gonna wear it in the house." Well, that's wearing it. Wearing it in his house is better than not wearing it at all. And somewhere down the line, through mathematics, she gonna change and want somebody to see her in it and go outside. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying here. When you hold back a truth that's gnawing at you, you telling a lie that you the boss, and you ain't the boss. You gonna go and come again. Maybe in the same family, maybe not. But Allah is eternal. Allah cannot die. So therefore, neither can you. And in the Bible, in one of them Psalms, it says, who gonna be with Allah? Who gonna be with God, they call it. And it said the players of instruments, the dancers and the singers will be there. So I'm gonna keep dancing. I'm gonna keep singing, and I'm gonna keep playing my guitar and my tambourine. And I suggest you do the same. You got a family, you got children, get a piano, get something, get a guitar, teach your children music. That's how you express Allah in the creative sense. Get a sewing machine, sew, make some clothes, get drawing paper, pens and pencils. Give them an outlet for the spirit of Allah that dwells in them so they can begin to know, oh, this is what Allah feels like. This is what it feels like. I love y'all. I don't know what time it is. Where my watch? Am I over time? Speak up, somebody. Ayeshe, am I over time?
No, Mama. We usually end.
Huh?
Much love, sweetie.
Say what?
We usually end around 9. We got a good 15 minutes left.
Oh, good. Questions, comments.
I have a comment.
Oh, Lord. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, when you spoke of our young brothers being in jail, I'm a living witness to the facts that you spoke about. And us as a people, we have to stop being so quick to say, well, that's where they belong. That's where they should go. Because until, just like Mama Yaba Bay said, until you done at least one night in there, you have no idea what they go through. I learned through my daughter's holistic teacher that their nerves are always on edge because you can never be in a relaxed state when you're in confinement. So I've spent a couple nights in there my own self, but I knew that a law was with me, so I didn't worry. But I just want to say that to us as a people, let's stop being so quick to say that that's where these young boys belong. Like Mama y'all would say, we got to bring them in. We got to go out here and reach out to them. We got to cover our young men. And now it's not just the young men, it's the young women doing it too. The young women's side of the prison is growing each and every day. So
well, once we can be the example and teach, everybody got to teach somebody. Go on here, go out there and give one person, and then get one more and one more. Give yourself a number. I'm gonna teach 14 people this year. Do something, because as long as we have this bitterness in our heart, we're gonna say things like that. The heart got to be cleansed. I ain't gonna say change, because you really can't change it. But the heart got to be cleansed of the fear and the anger. That's why a lot of our people, when I was a little girl, they said Black people never got cancer. Yeah. And I was, wow, I mean, in my family and all down neighborhood, no matter where you went, even in school, they would take Black people don't get no cancer. That's a white person disease. We get it now. They say Black people don't commit suicide. Only white people do that. We commit suicide now. So what changed? It's a number of things that changed. Our relationship to God, number one. You don't hear them people on the news say nothing about, well, there's some evil going on in this world. You have to recognize Shaitan in this world, because it's all in your face, but it don't look like that. You got to be the big light out there shining in the darkness. People tell me I never seen, sister, you have such a light. I say, I do. I said, what it look like? And they'll say, people have said things like, oh, you just look like an angel. I said, what do an angel look like? Everybody got their conception of everything. But our conception comes from the Ancient of Days. The truth has already been given in the beginning of time. There's no new truth. So we connect to the truth. People should tell me that too. There's no such thing as the truth. It's my truth and your truth. I said, what? You ain't got no truth? Show me your truth. Where did it come from? How did you get it? I had a wonderful father. My father, he was an alcoholic. He cuss you out. Not us. I mean, he cussed. He didn't cuss you out, but he would cuss. And when he got drunk. But that was usually like once a week, payday, or once every 2 weeks when he got paid. But he went to work every day. He never missed a day, until the tire blew up and shot him across the wall, and they had to give him time off because it was their tire. But I'm telling you this to tell you, my father said to me a lot of things that were really wise. But one of the things I'm going to share with you that he said, God is math. I said that to Ciara, I think that's her name, the other day. And she said, I've heard that before. I've heard that somewhere. And lo and behold, she go and find it and sent it to me about God is math. Now, my daddy didn't finish elementary school. He didn't read that nowhere. See? And his father was just like him. So he got that from his father. And I got this from them. And I give thanks that Allah manifested to me through them. Because if you stop planning everything and thinking that it's your way and this and that and the third, and start realizing that it's Allah's way, and how can I fit into this? Be like the note on sheet music. The note can't change itself. Only the player can change the note. You see. And when my dad said God is math, if it don't add up, it don't make sense. If it don't make sense, you can't spend it. I mean, you can't use it. You can't work with it. You know, he made me understand the sense of God without me even knowing that I was understanding the sense of God. And that's how we have to teach each other. You teach a woman without even knowing you're teaching her. You teach a man without even knowing you're teaching him. And one day, like the wonderful man I have, he will say to you, you know, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have. You understand what I'm saying? Allah told me, leave the book. He was yelling and screaming. We was living in Indianapolis at the time. He was yelling and screaming at me about something that happened on the computer like I knew. I said, I didn't do nothing. I sent it like you said, send it. If the guy didn't get it, I don't know. And Spirit said to me, don't say, say no more. Open up the Bible, whatever page, lay it right there on there. Open up the Quran, whatever page it'll fall on, lay it right there. Open up the Egyptian book of coming forth by day and by night, lay it right there. And that's what I did. And he was still yelling and screaming, and I left. When I came back hours later, I came back when the Spirit said, go back. He was so at peace. And he was quoting all that stuff that he had read. And I was inside myself. I was laughing. I said, what? I said, oh my goodness. So you think I'm not going to listen and obey? I can't wait to see what the next thing is. What's going to be the next instruction I get? So these people who say these negative things, you cannot judge them. You cannot be angry with them. You cannot even feel sorry for them. All you can do is shine a light on them because they are in total darkness. I tell women all the time, y'all complain about these men, you brought them into the world. How'd they get here? They got here through you. So you the mother of a son. Some girl one day gonna come to you and tell you she can't stand him because you didn't give him everything he's supposed to have. Now I have something that came from the Yoruba. It says that Orunmila, I believe. Anyway, it talks about it, the 7-year cycle. From age 1 to 7, well, from birth to 7, the child is learning from its mother. What is it learning? It's learning how to take care of itself, learning how to wash its face, wash its clothes, wash itself. You know, because my mother had us, we had to wash our underwear and our socks out in the sink in the bathroom ourselves. My mama didn't do that. So they teach you how to tie your shoe, how to put on your clothes, all that. You know what you teach. You all got children. From 1 to 7. From 7 to 14, they go with their daddy and their uncles and their grandpa. And they learn how to take care of a family. How? By learning how to talk to you, by learning how to take care of you. They get a 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot area of land. They have to plant something in it, seeds in it. They have to take care of it. And when the stuff grows in it, then they show their mama what they have achieved. And the mama make them feel so proud. You know how we mamas, oh, so beautiful, even if it ain't. We say, oh, you grew that plant so nice. But what you do as a real mama, you say, now, how did you grow that? You teach children how to think. That's another thing my daddy did. He pointed his finger right there. He said, think, think, think. Your head is not just a head rack. Your face is not just a thing of beauty. You must think. Now go in there and think. I said, I don't know what thinking is. He said, go think about it. So we have to do that. That's our responsibility. And I tell these mothers, when I ask little children things, here come the mama with the answer. I said, don't do that. Let him answer it. Let her answer it. Let her think on her own. She got her own brain. I told my daughter when she was growing up, she asked me something. I said, this is my brain. I don't let you use it. You use your own brain. Allah gave you a brain, use it. You ain't using my brain. She go in her room and figure it out and come back and show it to me. And she feels so proud and so strong. If I could just get you to think, then you would save yourself Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Now, how come my daddy got a hint of all of that? And the thing about God being mad. Come on now. Y'all got to love this way of life. And if you love this way of life, then you love the people that you have brought to this way of life. And if you have a woman that you truly, 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 truly love, or a man that you truly, 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 truly love, don't fight him. Don't fight her on what they now are doing, because that ain't what they were doing when you met him. Try to understand. Don't even try it. Trying this for blue folks. Sit down with them and say, help me to understand what you're talking about, because it don't make no sense to me. So then she's challenging the teacher in you. Now you got to find the thing, the tool to use to help her to see, because she just told you why she's not hearing you. She don't understand the word you're saying. Islam is mathematics and mathematics. Master Farad Muhammad. Islam is mathematics and mathematics, because numbers never stop. Numbers are eternal, even if you don't know about numbers. If I do this, I said, this is my hand. The number said this is one hand. See that? If I said, these are my fingers, the number said those are 5 fingers. So numbers are eternal. Math is eternal. Hold on. Sheikh Sufaba said, say the name of Allah until you become what you are saying. When people say, well, they deserve to be in jail, that way they don't know how to act, they don't know this. And I say, well, do you want to be in jail? Well, I don't act like that. Well, you may not act like that to you, but you're acting like that to me. See? So say the name of Allah until you become what you are saying. These negative qualities create a wall between you and God, between you and Allah. Ain't that awesome? So all them women and men that's talking all that negative stuff, I'm saying, do you believe in God? Of course I do. Do you believe that Jesus is your Savior? Of course I do. Well, then why are you putting these negative walls between you and God? Why are you doing that? Because Jesus said, you ain't got to follow none of these commandments but one. If you follow that one, you good. Love ye one another. Don't sound like you speaking no love to me. There's always a way to get the lesson into people's minds. You just got to take your time, be at peace, take a deep breath, and ask Allah to put the words in your mouth that this person needs at this time. And it'll happen. Before I did this, I asked Allah, just whatever you want me to say, just put it in my mouth and don't let me be nervous. Come to perfect her. And it says here, Allah came to perfect the character of mankind. Bismillah, I am with Allah. Bismillah, I am with Allah. I am with Allah. You can't say it if you don't know it. And if you're with Allah, you ain't gonna run nobody away from you. You're gonna bring everybody to you except the shaitan disciples. Rahman, merciful. So you got to be merciful to people. Rahim, compassionate. You got to be compassionate. Look at it, even the word compassionate got passion coming, the coming of passion. There's a deep feeling. Latif, gentle. What's that brother name? He played flute. Yusef Latif. And he played it good and gently too. Aziz, mighty. That's Hera Kahuti. El, is it El High? El High Life? Y'all correct me now. Be those who worship life, not those who worship death. Kajun, self-existing being. Self-existing. Check that out. Are you self-existing? No. You are Allah existing, and Allah is self-existing. You stop eating, you're going to die. You stop drinking water, you definitely going to die. You stop thinking good thoughts and being kind to people, your heart is going to die. But Allah that resides in you, as you, it ain't gonna die. It's gonna move on to the next one. These I got from Sheikh Sufi Bar. Not depending on earthly things. All of this is nothing without love. Love must become an action. Y'all got that? I can't hear you. Turn on your mute button. Turn it off so I can hear you. And I want y'all to say, love must become an action. Can everybody say that for me, please?
Love
must become an action.
Become an action.
That's right.
Must become an action.
Don't that feel good? Love
Yes.
must become an action. We go around telling somebody, I love you, I love you. You don't even know in other countries, in like South America and France and places, they don't say I love you. They say, when I'm near you, I feel like I am protected. When I'm near you, I feel so fulfilled. When I see you coming, my heart beats faster and I just want to be held by you. They express the words of love. That I love you business came from them other people. I call them Shaitan servants. See, a lot of people who serve in Shaitan, they don't know they serve in Shaitan. Just like people who eat ham. I was a big pork eater. That's the one thing I cannot go before Allah in the last days and say I never did it. My friend that I've been with now for about 18 years, his family, they never ate pork. I said, you got a lot going on, but that's the one thing you can always stand before God and say, you never did. You never ate no pork. You know, so you want to be able to let people feel your love. Don't be afraid to let people feel your love. And we're in a world where people don't speak. When I was a little girl in growing up here in Richmond, Virginia, everybody spoke. You ain't had to know the person to speak. But now, since integration, I can tell y'all that story too. Since integration, we have gone down, down, down.
Yes.
Yes. Bathsheba Etheridge. Bathsheba Etheridge.
It's Bathsheba Ba.
Bathsheba,
Etheridge is my
Bathsheba
slave
Ba,
name.
Bathsheba.
Right. B-A-H. Bathsheba Ba.
Well, sister, you seem like you know what I'm talking about.
I mean,
I'm
yes,
Etheridge
ma'am.
Who? A brother spoke. He said, I'm Etheridge too.
Assalamu alaikum. I said I'm Etheridge too, South Carolina.
No, we are probably related, brother.
Probably. I always tell people if there's only one God, everybody's some kin.
That's
right. My grandpa, that's my daddy, your daddy too. You know, we have to this thing about English and this language, you know. The Native Americans, of which my grandfather was one, they said, white men speak with forked tongue.
Yes.
They said, white men smile in your face and stab you in the back. We have to stop living like we don't know the nature of these people. That don't mean every white man, but that means the one that you know is like that. You can't walk around acting like you don't know that. You know, I'm gonna tell you something. I hope she don't mind me sharing this, but Sister Ciara, I told her when she told me, when I found out her story, I said, well, she want to write a book about me. And I said, you sure you want to write a book about me? I said, because some things I say, I don't know if you're going to be able to handle it. She said, I've already worked through all of that. And I felt that. And I said, you know, that's something to really have to work through. You know, that's really something. And I have three great nephews. And their daddy is my nephew, and their mama is from the other side of the world. So they're going to have to work through it too. Because I shouldn't have to shut up because of what I know about certain kinds of people. And she shouldn't have to suffer through it because she's connected to them. You understand what I'm saying? I hope y'all do. Because when my first girlfriend her son married a Caucasian girl. And we used to joke and talk about all, you know, black people, you free to say what you say. And after he started dating her, we kind of didn't do it no more. And I told her, some spirit told me you talked to her about that. And I said to her, have you noticed that we don't say nothing? We don't even say the word white people no more. We don't even say people who call themselves white. We don't even mention it no more. What that's doing to our relationship? She said, you know, I was thinking about it too. So it's an adjustment that has to be made, but it's no adjustment that's supposed to block you from living truth. You have to understand that. And like I told somebody, oh, my cousin married this girl from Germany. And like in African culture, you know, I'm practicing Yoruba, we do like this or we do like that. We don't hug you. And so she came up to me at an affair that the family was having, and she said, you just don't like me. She was crying and everything. I said, why you say that? You won't let me hug you. You won't let it. I said, I don't let nobody hug me. She said, yeah, but Roger and Baron, they hug you. I said, have you noticed that they're over 6 feet tall and they pick me up off the ground? What am I gonna do? You know, they don't pay me no mind. I'm their cousin. They don't care what I said. But you ain't my cousin. And I know who you are. And I know what you are. And you're not going to change me. And she said, why you say that? I said, you from Germany, right? You know about that stone in Germany then? She didn't say what stone. That's what I knew she knew. And I said, you know about that stone. Only a certain woman can pull that piece in the middle out of that stone. Every tear she had dried up on her face. She didn't even use a towel to wipe it. I said, see, so it takes one to know one. It's a stone in Germany where only a woman with witch power can pull the center of the stone out of the main part of the stone. I said, so I know what you are. I've been knowing what you are from the first day. Y'all been married almost 30 years. I never said nothing to Byron about you. I will never tell him. That's between you and him. But God made a rabbit to live in a hole. And God made a snake to live in a hole. But you'll never see a rabbit and a snake living in the same hole. So I can't hate you because I have to answer to God if I hate you. God made you. I don't have nothing to do with that. But you're not going to make me turn into something that I am not. That is not going to happen. And after that, she was just nice to me. She didn't bother me no more about none of that. That's why I say if you're going to be truth or you're going to live this truth, you're going to teach truth, you got to live the truth. And you got to speak truth. And after that, she was much more comfortable around me. She knew she couldn't play me. She knew I knew her. Truth always wins out. She got something on her knee. She asked me, could I heal it? And all of that stuff. She got more like a person rather than somebody that's trying to win me over. So you all are walking a very narrow path, but it's a wonderful path. And Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba gave us the greatest example. Nothing is impossible, but you have to make yourself that person. You have to be comfortable being that person. When I was a little girl, I used to do like this. I had no breasts. I didn't want nobody to see I had no breasts. I was skinny. I wore big clothes. I didn't want anybody to know how skinny I was. And then African culture came and I could wear long skirts. I'm just saying, be what you are and enjoy being what you are and enjoy sharing what you are, because it's only through your person that people are going to see God. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much. Please, please, if you got anything to say it. Got any questions you want to ask it. Please, I love answering questions and I love hearing other people's thoughts.
Assalamu alaikum, Cheikah.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Can you hear me?
Iman Ulujimi?
Can you hear me?
Your mic is sandy. It's not clear. Staticky, that's the word. Try it again. I know y'all gonna get off and then y'all gonna talk to each other.
I think we all wanted to say something to you at the same time.
Can you hear me?
I just want to say thank you, and you're a treasure.
I
thank a lot for you.
Thank you, Saffron.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And Iman, Who is that? Iman Ulujimi.
Iman.
Iman.
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I've been having such difficulty trying to connect, but thank you so much for the words. They're very confirming and very inspiring, and I am very needed right now. So needed. I'm so grateful.
Give thanks. Praise be to Allah, Allah, the most beautiful, the most wonderful word in the world.
La ilaha illallah, la ilaha illallah.
Assalamu alaikum, Cheikah.
Wa alaikum assalam, King Man.
Alhamdulillah. You were right on it tonight, as always, from the relationship piece to the standing in your power piece to everything that you brought forth. You know, I resonate completely with it, and pray that you continue to be you and bring forth what Allah gives you.
I give thanks for all these blessings. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Give thanks. May Allah continue to bless you as well. And as he said today, he wakes me up every morning about 3:30. I just be sleeping. Next thing I know, I look at my phone and I said, let me say something to him. And he said, you never sleep, do you? But so I thank you. I thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to attending your classes and workshops and whatever you do too.
Oh, I don't have to teach nothing now. You got it.
All praises be to Allah all the time. I'm glad that we can be free enough to say, praise God, praise the Lord. That's how the old people was when I was growing up. You know, my grandmother, they was always praying, always giving thanks. They didn't know the word Allah, but they knew that spirit and they knew where they were sending it, you know? Yeah, I'm glad it's back. Let it stay.
If that ends off, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna stop right here. I just want to know, who is Yazid Salam?
Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Wa alaikum assalam. I'm good. Your image there is really very powerful, speaking to me. So I had to call you out.
No problem. Alhamdulillah. I took that in Sedona. I took Sheikh Amadou Bamba up there to the vortexes. Alhamdulillah, made du'as for the Darrah up there. Alhamdulillah.
Oh, that's wonderful. I hope I get to do that. I know there was a Darrah up there. I need to go there myself.
No, I took us there.
You took it. Oh, you took the group there. Right.
There's no mashes in or mosque in the Sedona, so I went there on a trip and took us up there in spirit, inshallah.
Give thanks. May Allah bless you continually. May Allah be praised in your heart and in your life. And may everything you're trying to bring to the people be understood by them. And may we all bring millions to this way of understanding.
Ameen.
Okay, Cheikah, I'm done.
Bismillah. Duas. Almighty reverse with truth of becoming Allah. Almighty reborn, ancestors in Allah. Almighty return as one to Allah and ancestors. Almighty revive us again and again and again after death to ourselves. Almighty respect for our mothers, fathers, children, brothers, and sisters. Almighty, we rebuke devils, imps, and Almighty, please revisit us from ancestors and Allah. We in this do saying hallelujah, namaste, halito, alhamdulillah. And we will repeat Harambe 7 times. Harambe,
Harambe, Harambe, Harambe, Harambe, Harambe, Harambe. You broke up.
For us as a Darrah, please let us pull together in this next year to come. Let's hold each other up and let's let our youth stand on our shoulders to reach the Almighty. Ameen Ashe Aho.
Amen.
Amen.
Asheo.
I mean.
Incredible from Sheikh Salih
Amen.
Bey. Incredible, Mother Ayaba Bey. I can't wait to be in your presence again. Love and life.
Amen.
I'm looking
Amen.
forward to it too. Give thanks. Oh yeah, and I paid for. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sheikh Salih. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just showing my face.
I put $50 down on that room where we were the last time. Sheikh talking about he ain't coming back here. So I mean, if you want to get together and use that room, you know, in the future sometime, let me know. The sister said she'd hold it open for me. But he better come back.
You
We'll
don't come.
force him
We
back.
still got to get together the new year, all of us. We can't not get together if the Sheikh come back. But you know he'll say he won't come back and pop up on us. But you might stay gone 2 years this time. It's very possible. Only
Yeah.
Allah knows the best of
Only
clarity.
Allah know. Give thanks, yes.
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Ayaba Bey. I wanted to say, in these talks, we used to kind of the upper mystical, esoteric wisdom, which of course you drop, but I thank you personally for the down to earth grounding kind of wisdom, that everyday stuff that we need to hear sometimes, because we could be too much up in the clouds and forget that we're down on the ground. So alhamdulillah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Give thanks. Give thanks.
Assalamu alaikum. How you doing? Long time no see, and I will see you soon. You already know who this is.
I don't.
All right, I'll show my face. Hold on, hold on. Let's see if I can turn this on. Here we
Wait a
go.
minute. You're a friend of Zulu?
Oh, you'll know.
I know, the young one. Give thanks.
Good thing. No, thank you for the lesson. I had to come in and I saw your name. Spirit told me to come into the chat, and I got everything. And you already know I got Minizu with me right here with me, though.
Oh, you do? Oh, that's wonderful. Good.
Oh, you want to say
Thanks.
peace? Everybody can see.
Please, I can see you there. Salam alaikum.
So we here. So we'll see you real soon and be in Richmond.
All
I'm
right.
still down
All right.
here.
I look
Peace.
forward to it. Peace. Salam alaikum.
Walaikum wassalam.
I love y'all. Signing off.
Love you
Peace.
more love, more life,
Love you
family.
too. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Love you too. Peace, Mama.
Salamu wa
Peace and
wadu.
love.
Walaikum assalam.
Love and light.
Back
Love.
anytime.
Everybody have a good night.
Love and life.
Sis, can you leave your information? Salaam alaikum. Your phone number or email?
Yeah. Who knows how to do that? I don't know how to do it. Where do I leave it? Where it says
For in the chat. You can
up here. Okay.
I think in the chat.
I see it. Okay. Whoa. Oh, you can't go back. Okay. Now what I
Okay.
do?
Okay.
Hit
And
this
you
little
press
arrow.
press the arrow. It should show up.
I don't see it.
It's all the way down the bottom, usually to the right. Okay. Let's see if you can, I'm going to just put my name, see if you pick this up.
You know,
Okay,
I'm gonna do it again.
Okay, maybe because I don't know, it's not going, even when I press, it's not going through, so I don't know.
Maybe he's cut it off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I came in a little late, but from what I picked up, it was just phenomenal. I just said, wow. I think I missed like 40 minutes maybe.
Wow. I think he may have recorded it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm doing it again. Can you see this? Can you see this? Can you see what I'm typing?
Let me see here. No.
Oh.
Yeah, he probably it disconnected in some way. But
That's
anyway, I was
there
just,
it is.
There it is.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything now.
Ooh, well. Do you have what's that app called? Cash app. WhatsApp. Do you have WhatsApp?
Oh yeah, yes. I have WhatsApp. Mm-hmm.
Well, Ayaba Bay.
Okay.
Sign her name. That's me.
Ayabba. Ayaba.
Ayaba.
Okay. Bay. Bey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll look you up. Okay, I'll come across as Bathsheba Etheridge, but like I said, that Etheridge is my slave name. So my name is Bah now, B-A-H. And I'm in Pennsylvania, where Sheikh Sufi, he's in Philadelphia, but I'm in the like the outskirts in Plymouth Meeting, the outskirts of Philly.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I look forward to hearing from you.
Oh, yes, absolutely. This was phenomenal. Just your ability to bring everything together. You know, when you spoke of Christianity, the Metu Neter, Islam, Judea, it's just universal truth. You know, it's just universal truth. And
that's the name of my organization.
Really?
Universal Truth.
It just resonated with me. I'm like, wow, it's not too many people that you meet that's on that level of understanding. And it's just so refreshing. It's so refreshing. So yes, you're welcome. So, and you're in Richmond?
Richmond? No, I'm in Maryland, but my family's in Richmond, so I'm down here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have family in Maryland too. So very good. We'll connect, and
let's do
whatever it is that you're doing, just pass it on. And whatever I'm doing, I'm back and forth to the continent also. So, but I usually go to East Africa.
Oh, like Kenya?
Yeah. It's Zanzibar, Tanzania.
Zanzibar. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's different. I'm glad to hear somebody going somewhere else other than the same old place.
Yeah. You mentioned Nigeria. I've been there too. I've been, many years ago. And my husband was Nigerian. So, yeah. And he was Yoruba. So that's a very strong culture. And I know it's very deep, very deep also. Yes. Well, thank you. Shukran for everything. May Allah continue to bless you. And we will be in touch. Inshallah.
Thank you. I look forward to it. May Allah continue to bless you as well. And may we all find our way to the one path.
That's it. That's it. And have a wonderful, wonderful new 12-month cycle.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.